talk about how it went.
Make sure you don't swear.
I'm not going to.
Okay, so we're back with Matt Kuhnel,
Yes.
who just won his first round match
Yep.
and won the last super tournament
Yep.
for Lord of the Tachyon Galaxy. How did you feel this match?
I had to play against a friend of mine, Kevin, from Connecticut, and so it was pretty casual to begin with. But I kind of I felt going in, I didn't feel that confident because I knew he was running spellbooks and I'm running dragons, and I've only played the new deck, for like a week, and I haven't even played against spellbooks with it. So I don't know. I've played spellbooks with mermails a lot because I've been running mermails for the past 2 weeks, and I haven't lost them at all. So I decided that I could win, but I didn't know if there was some crazy thing that he could do that could beat me. But it ended up going okay, but I didn't feel good about winning because of the manner in which I won.
Return from the different dimension, GG.
Games 1 and 2 for game. But yeah, it was an okay match. I made a huge misplay though in game 2 that Kevin pointed out to me later. But yeah, it was nice, but I wish I hadn't had to play against somebody I know, because one of us was going to lose, and that sucks.
Yeah, I find that happens more often than not.
The
first
yeah.
round, you
At
play
a
the person
regional,
you know.
Yeah, like a regional or something, or any of these events. I've only been to I've been to 4 regionals, which I topped 2 of them. But at 3 of them in a row, I've always faced somebody I know every single game, every round 1. I've always played someone I know, and it's just a terrible feeling. You don't want to make one of your friends lose, and they don't want to make you lose.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully.
So Return from the Different Dimension
is broken and should be banned. It's a card that should be banned.
So that's maybe something for the next list that might happen, because you won both games
because of Return from the Different Dimension. I didn't game 1. I could have won without it because he had opened really poorly, and it was obvious that he opened poorly, and I was just hitting him for damage without ever actually using anything. I didn't waste any resources. I wasn't committed at all. Even if he had back rows, I had Card Trooper and stuff, so I could have kept pushing on the following turns. And Return just made sure he was at 4,000, I think, or something. He was low enough that I could return with my title. I think another title. I also had debris and Flambeau Guards banished. But he had enough that I could kill him with Return. And I was thinking do I really want to half my life points to try and kill him? Because he still had 2 back rows, I think. It was either 2 or 3. I was do I really want to do it? I was yeah, I'm just going to take the chance. It's Return from the Different Dimension. It's so broken that I'm staring down 3 back rows and I'm just going to go for it. Who cares?
Yeah. So I also saw that first mill off the Card Trooper got you 2 Flambeau Guards in the game.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Oh yeah.
It's fine if you mill 1. I milled Blaster, which is good. It's good milling big dragons. But when I milled the 2 guards and the Blaster, it just sucks because my cards of consonants are almost dead.
Yeah.
All of them. And the only level 1 tuner in my deck now is Valor and Forcesco. But it's not the worst thing because I have Debris, and Debris will bring back the guard, which is why I run the 2 guards, but it's still not the best mill ever. But he opened so bad it didn't matter. I could just summon the Blaster out and just poke him with it.
Yeah, bad starting hands are just a thing for everyone.
Yeah, especially Dragons and Prophecy.
Yeah.
I don't like Dragon and Prophecy right now that much.
And then I remember game 2, you opened up and just went Blaster to pop Haiku and passed. No, nothing else.
It's because I opened with Blaster, the Flambeau Guard, 2 Tempests, a Redox, and a Cards of Constance. That's 6, I'm pretty sure. Literally, I couldn't do much at all, but I was Kaiku's going to be a problem, and I'm going to put Blaster in my graveyard, so then when Kaiku's gone, I can remove and start beat facing. So I just decided to destroy Kaiku and just end my turn. I could have Tempest for title, put title in my graveyard and have all my colors, but I wanted to summon all my dragons and use them to get pluses to use the cards of consonants, rather than just setting up all the dragons, because I haven't played against Prophecy much. But I assume that if I can keep summoning a dragon every single turn by removing dragons until I obviously have a graveyard of small things, the tuners and stuff, I can probably win by just exhausting the resources like that.
Yeah, I played dragons for a little while last format, and basically the whole thing was Eradicator the game.
I had Eradicator in my deck. I didn't even see him. Yeah, I don't think I saw any of my side. I might have drawn MST in game 2, but I do side run Eradicator because of the the 3 swords and the 3 cards of consequence, like the deck has very good draw power, so there is a chance that you will open up with that Eradicator and just be like, oh, good game. It's like the same thing as Return from the Different Dimension.
Yeah, and even without things like Super Rejuve at 3 anymore, you can still run the cards of consonance because.
Well, yeah, you
Dragon
didn't need cards of consonance and Super Rejuve was around because that card was just busted. But
yeah,
now you can just find alternative ways of having draw power. Like I thought of putting an Upstart, but I couldn't find a room for it.
So, how did you like it when he Book of Mooned his own Spellbook Magician?
Well, I was actually thinking of booking his Magician because I didn't want him to get his tower off. And I was like, in retrospect, that's terrible. Like, my hand sucks anyway. Why make it even worse? But it's like the thing. Well, the thing was is the Book of Moon on his own Magician was to get his Fate because he didn't have Fate set up, and you want Fate set up. So it wasn't a bad play on his part. Like he could have if he had saved it, he might not have died to return because the only out he had for the return was the Fiendish Chain. But he was at 6,000, and I hit him with 2 Tempests, Iron Chain Dragon, and 1 more. Oh, and what's it called? Debris Dragon. So the Book of Moon might not have even helped. Actually, it would have helped. He would have had 200 life points out. But he needed Fate. Without Fate, I might have actually even been able to push him harder.
And then the last big point I saw was he used power on Shining Elf.
Yes, that was a big deal because when he summoned Kaiku, I knew he had power in his hand because he searched out because he can search Master with Master. He was like, oh, I can't search Master with Master. So he searched out power. And I had Iron Chain Dragon out, and I was like, alright, if he attacks with the Shining Elf, I'll book and he'll activate Wisdom and then I'll activate Reiki, Break and Destroy. And then he summoned the Kaiku, and I was like, well, now I need to get rid of Kaiku. That's obviously a problem. And what happened was I'm like, alright, so hopefully he will power the Kaiku and then swing so I can book the Kaiku and Raigeki break the Kaiku. But he did it on the Shining Elf, and I had to keep Chain Dragon on the field so I could bait out his Fate. And so Kaiku was a problem there. But if I didn't have return, I would have lost, because there was nothing I could really do with the way my graveyard was set up with 1 card in hand. I needed to summon dragons, and I couldn't do it with the Kaiku there. But return, I can obviously just summon 5 dragons and be like, take that.
Yeah. So, do you feel Dragon Rulers is still a pretty good deck?
Yeah.
Even though it was neutered after the last format.
Yeah, it's a really good deck. I like this deck. It's really fun. As compared to the other one where you're like Super Rejuve for 8. Oh, I didn't like that hand. I'll draw some more cards. Like, I didn't like that. I only liked when I was running them last one. I only liked playing the mirror match because when you play against spellbooks, it just sucked because you just weren't allowed to play Yu-Gi-Oh. It was boring.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just irritating and boring. And then if you played against other decks, you felt bad because you were just stomping their face in and they couldn't do anything. So the only time you felt good was in the mirror match. But the mirror match was actually lots of fun and rewarding. And now they are way more balanced. Like, they're obviously still like, annoying. Like, a lot of people are saying that like they're broken as all hell still, but they can open really bad. Like, really, really, really bad. Like, when you open with like 5 big dragons and like nothing good. Like, I feel like the deck needs to open with a swords or a card trooper or a dragon redeem in order to consider the hand good. Because if you don't open with one of those, you have no draw power, and you don't want to like open turn 1 and just be like summon Redox in defense position, banishing 2 dragons just to thin your deck. Like, because then you're wasting. Those 2 dragons aren't going to come back. So that if the game goes really late, those 2 dragons, which could have been in your graveyard or something, are now just gone. And all you're doing is putting Redox on the field to return into your hand and just thin your deck. Hope you draw power. Hope you draw the right deck. And that's like the deck. I like it. I ran it because I felt like there would be mirror matches. I feel like the way I want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Is I want to play mirror matches like all the time. That's what I like doing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is I like playing mirror matches. I think if you're a good player, you'll win mirror matches. Like, it's better to go against mirror matches than to go against rogue decks. Oh, yeah. So I ran dragons because of that, and like I noticed that the deck can draw really bad, and so can spellbooks. Like, Kevin drew terrible game 1. He didn't have a spellcaster, so he couldn't use like half of his deck. And the same thing with dragons. If you open with all dragons, you're doing really stupid plays that don't matter. But like the deck I wanted to run was Mermails, because Mermails can open. I feel like Mermails have the best game 1, not game 1, turn 1 in the game. Mermails usually open with a way to make Bahamut, or they open with a way to make Bahamut and Engineer, or they open with a way to make Gaios, or obviously Draco, or Gaios Engineer, or Draco Engineer, and those plays are just absurd. The field is like impossible to break, But the issue I had with Mermails is when I'm playing against dragons, if I go first and I'm like, all right, summon Tias, discarding this, they play Max C, I'm obviously, if I want to go for the Gaius or the Draco, I'm going to give them at least 3 cards. And I don't want to give them 3 cards, but if I don't give them 3 cards, then I get Bladered, no matter what. You get Crimson Blader, guaranteed. And I just didn't like that. I felt like if I play against dragons and I commit and they drop Max C, I lose. And it just wasn't worth it.
Now, I remember I saw your deck profile for your deck at the last Super Tournament, and you played 2 Crimson Blader.
Yeah, I played 2 Crimson Blader today, too.
So, how do you think that's going to do?
Amazing. Crimson Blader is still like the best card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Especially against Mermails. Mermails don't have enough out. Well, they can actually kill the Crimson Blader easily. They're really good at killing Crimson Blader. Like, whenever I play against dragons, I'll always kill their Crimson Blader. And, like, but if they run a second one, then it doesn't matter at all. Like, I feel like my Mermail matchup should be really good. And it's okay against spellbooks because they run Priestess now. But in the mirror match, resolving a successful Crimson Blader is obviously like going to win you the game most of the time. It's really hard. But I would still run 2 just because after they kill 1, they think they're safe, and then you can bring out the second one. And then you can actually use the third one by using Redox's effect. You're going to bring it back to the graveyard.
Yeah, like I have a friend who's playing E-Dragons today, and I told him 2 Crimson Blader.
Yeah, I mean, the deck is basically made around Synchro for 8 now. You run all these level 1 tuners. You can't really overlay for 7 every single turn with the cost of nothing anymore. So, like, the deck is centered completely around level 8. So, like, you should run 2 Crimson Bladers. There's no reason not.
And then they're going to use all of their resources to get rid of
Crimson Blader. Yeah, or you're just going to...
And then you can just make another one.
Yeah, or they don't get rid of Crimson Blader, worst case scenario, and you just kill them on the following turn, because that's what Crimson Blader was. Like, you get Crimson Bladered, and then you're looking at your hand, and you're like, well... They have all these dragons in the graveyard. Crimson Blader's 2,800 to begin with, so they can just summon dragons and hit me next turn and kill me. Or I can set a monster and get Crimson Bladered again. Like, it's a card that just seals games. And it's actually kind of like degenerate when you think about it, but it's obviously not like a broken card because of the fact that it keeps things in check.
Yeah.
It is a win condition, most certainly. It's a very good win condition. So always run 2. 2 is really good. I like it.
Well, thanks for coming to talk with us and winning your first match.
Yeah, I wish I hadn't won that way. Maybe it'll happen some more. That'd be great.
Maybe we'll see you in some more feature matches later on in the tournament.
Hopefully. That'd be nice.
All right. Well,